Hi, this is Orthodox Boomer Grandma here. I'm just coming up live for a brief post-Pascha reflection. Today I was looking at my Facebook memories, and a post came up from April of 2020, right after Pascha. And I made this fairly long video. It was about 15 minutes. It was a Facebook Live at the time, with the camera on me and everything. And I was sharing about my blameful Pascha that I had that year. 2020 was extremely traumatic for everybody, for the entire world, especially obviously for all of us Orthodox Christians whose churches were closed and where the only option was to attend Pascha online. So that video was very revealing, very vulnerable. I basically opened up and discussed how I had a very blameful Pascha in that I was cruel to my husband and all this stuff, and I was kind of just catharting about it openly on Facebook and sharing my experience with the idea that other people might have had some similar type of experience, and that somehow I've gotten the idea that by revealing my own inner process of catharsis and ongoing repentance and cleansing of my heart that God is doing, which is only available in the Orthodox Church, I got the idea that might help other people. I think it could, because I don't actually hear a lot of teaching in the church, or at least not in my church, and I love my church, but it's very focused on the services, and social connections are there, very beautiful. We had a lovely Pascha this year, and I am developing a greater love for my community church members, trying to learn how to love my neighbor more by loving them more. And it was bittersweet because our Matushka was ill, and so she couldn't even be in church for the whole of Holy Week. It was very sad, and I was trying to support our wonderful priest. Anyway, so I was just, when I saw this Facebook post in my memory stream there, I realized that I had really thought I was going to get out there and help people. This is still back when I had my clinical psychology license, and I did a bunch of live streams initially early in the pandemic lockdown, where I thought I could help people. I was teaching some stress management stuff, some breathing, basically kind of using my 25-year history as a clinical psychologist to offer some assistance for the stress that we all experienced during the lockdowns. Anyway, so here we are now, 3 years later, and I realize that whole thing took so much out of me, you guys. I don't know about you, but I am a totally different person than I was. I had a lot more energy back then. I feel like I have definitely aged way more than just 3 years. But it's easy to forget that it even happened, because here we are now, and we're not in lockdown, and we've gone back to how we were as far as churches being open and everything. But yeah, it just took so much out of me. During this time period, I've given up my psychology license, and I'm really focusing, just even here at the place, I don't even know what to call it here anymore. I mean, I had such sort of big goals, and I think they were inspired by God and St. Elizabeth and St. John, to have this Orthodox Christian Healing Arts Center here, which it still could be. It's just that I'm no longer feeling like getting out there, and I just don't have the energy to promote it or do anything. So it's totally on God, of course, and we have had people visit, and it's been wonderful. So it's just crawling along, at God's pace. But I am such a different person. I'm still absorbing how much older I feel and how much weaker I feel and how much more exhausted and tired I feel. I'm still working out almost every day, every other day, because if I don't, I feel like my muscles are just gonna slough off of my body and fall off onto the ground. It's really weird. Last Lent, I asked God to give me a spiritual experience of the remembrance of death, and he really did by having me see how my body was deteriorating, by noticing it. And it's probably because since we moved to the factory and we're living in the healing center now, we're living in the warehouse, I have almost zero contact with the outside world unless I'm in church. And I can't quite see who's up here right now, but hello, I'm sharing. Anyway, I think the solitude has changed me also, but in mostly good ways, I think, because I was super extroverted for most of my life in a very hyper outgoing social I had a very hyper socially outgoing persona, very extroverted, and there was just not a lot of deep inner self-reflection on my flaws. And that's where my controlaholic nature got really ingrained in me. And so just an aside, one of the good things is that since I did take my book off of Amazon, and then another person who's Orthodox, who's a monastic, read it and says it needs to get back out there. I have been working really hard on re-editing it. So I even thought, once I get it finished re-editing, I'll probably come and read it up here in little chunks. Confessions of a Controllaholic. It's my story of my life and the influences on me that created this controlaholic, ultra high achieving feminist intellectual liberal that I used to be before I met Christ in 1995, when I was like, I don't know, what was I, 37 or 8, something like that. Anyway, so that'll come up. But yeah, my whole attitude towards being out there in the public has changed. Like, I guess partly it is I'm sort of scared of just having people show up here like off the street, but not really. I know God is going to direct who comes here, but I just don't feel it's necessary to get out there and blab about a lot and advertise, except for the fact that we're almost ready to launch the Union of All Icon business. So when that happens, I will get up here, and I'll probably have to do an Instagram, or I want to do an Instagram channel, or whatever it's called, profile, because the icons would take very well to a image-oriented social media platform for advertising. And I really think that we have such beautiful images to offer that people are going to benefit from our icons. Anyway, I'm contemplating whether I should just do more content up here as far as Orthodox psychotherapy. Maybe I will start talking more about the healing that I'm experiencing, that I have experienced, that I just want to share. Because basically, I think that's where we can have an impact on other people, is, when we are vulnerable and when we do share what we've gone through. And I'm more and more convinced, the longer I'm Orthodox, that it is really the true psychology. It is a true healing. It is the most complete system for healing of the whole human person, and it's all done in Jesus Christ. I can't believe I didn't find out about it until I was 56. It's such a shame. So I think we all do need to share it with others, because people are going to be just desperate for Christ, hopefully. I was watching David Patrick Harry, Church of Eternal Logos, had an interview with Father Peter Heers yesterday about transhumanism, and they were both agreeing that it's going to come down to transhumanism and the whole worldly antichrist system versus the truth of Orthodox Christianity, which there are forces afoot right now to try to corrupt Holy Orthodoxy in so many ways, from outside the church and from within. And we have to speak up, and we have to share the reality of the healing that we're seeing in our own selves, so that other people can be invited into the ark. So that's my goal. And now I'm going to get off of here and try not to make things too long. And I can't quite see who's up here, but thank you for being here, whoever you are. I'll probably see it later if you leave a comment. But yeah, keep praying for us. We have a bit of a hitch with the icons, the wonderful coding process that we had. It's Dr. Crispy, my favorite follower, my most loyal fan. I love it. Anyway, we're actually purchasing a spray booth today, a very large inflatable spray booth. So I will probably make a little video about that soon. Anyway, so I hope everybody is having a great, bright week. And I love you all. I'm praying for you all. And I will talk to you all later. Yes, everything will work out. God has the timing. And in spite of my fatigue and sometimes even slothfulness, he's working. So we just keep moving forward one day at a time. Okay, everybody, I'm praying for you. So talk to you soon. Okay, bye.